U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to up the ante on a bruising trade war with China. He's reiterated a warning that he could impose further tariffs on Chinese goods worth hundreds of billions of dollars.
The United States is the piggy bank. It has all the money that others want to take from us, but they're not taking it so easy anymore. It's a lot different. Our talks with China, a lot of interesting things are happening. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, we're getting 25% on $250 billion, and I could go up another at least $300 billion, and I'll do that at the right time.
But Beijing says that it will fight to the end and has accused Washington of setting back negotiations with its pressure tactics. China has also emphasized that the direction of talks it depends on the United States. Today, Beijing released a report detailing how Washington has benefited from years of economic and trade cooperation with Beijing. Mr. Trump has repeatedly accused China of taking advantage of the U.S. But the report indicates Washington has gained from bilateral trade. It said China has a surplus, but emphasized that profits have gone both ways and called the United States' claims groundless. China also emphasized that the direction of talks hinges on the U.S. My colleague Olivia Song joins us now for more on this story. Good evening, Olivia. What else does this report say about U.S.-China trade?
Well, this report essentially addresses one of the key U.S. complaints in this ongoing trade war with China, that is its trade deficit with the country. And this report aims to clear the air. China's Commerce Ministry says it looks into the nature of this trade deficit. Now, the report says that the U.S. has benefited from years of trade, bilateral trade and cooperation with China. It also says that China may have the surplus, but the profits are shared between the two countries. And so U.S. accusations that China is taking advantage of this trade relationship are groundless. Now, the report also looks into the reasons for this trade deficit. And China says that it actually does see a surplus in labor-intensive products, but it also has a deficit with the U.S. in areas like airplanes, automobiles, and agricultural products. And what China is putting forward is that this is just both countries capitalizing on its industrial advantages. It says another reason why there is a deficit is also because of the U.S. having strict controls on its exports to China, which involves about 3,100 products, including high technology goods. And it says that if these export control measures can be relaxed, this trade deficit can be narrowed as well. But we have to recognize that China has been, in these past few weeks, launching a strong defense of its actions. It's blaming the U.S. for the breakdown in trade talks. This comes after the U.S. has accused China of backtracking on some of its commitments in relation to it making structural changes.
Now, Olivia, there's been growing concern about China's potential list of so-called unreliable entities, and just wondering what's Beijing's reaction on this?
Well, there has certainly been a lot of attention on this unreliable entities list. This comes after China has said that it has to take countermeasures in order to protect its own interests. And this especially comes after the U.S. put Chinese telecoms giant Huawei on an entity list, effectively barring the company from buying U.S. technology. Now, China has also today sought to address some concerns that the entities list could be targeting American firms. But China says right now the government is going through some processes, and it will announce the list in due course, and that this list does not target any particular industry, organization, or individual. And it also said that it's about safeguarding market conditions, especially as it has faced the challenge of unilateralism in recent times. This, of course, being a veiled reference to the United States. It also said that those who adhere to the law and the spirit of contract do not need to worry about this unduly. But there is possibly some reason for concern. In recent times, we've seen Chinese media like the Global Times speculate that American technology firms could be placed on this unreliable entities list, in particular those that we have heard move to ban Huawei in one form or the other in response to these new U.S. regulations. And in this case, we have heard reports of these companies could include Google, Qualcomm, and Intel as well.
All right, many thanks, Ollie. Appreciate your thoughts there. And that was Olivia Xiong speaking to us live from Beijing.